Ahead of the takeover on May 29th, as the 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the president-elect Bola Tinubu has already begun team building with the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Felix Mila, said to have been penciled down as his chief of staff, also believed to be in considered for some serious role in the coming administration, his former Commissioner for Finance, Wale Edun, and the Kebbi State Governor, Atiku Bagudu, among other familiar faces currently being identified for different roles. This is as renowned playwright and popular Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka has warned Tinubu against failing to restructure the country, saying it was the only way out of the current national ordeal. However, in readiness for this administration's takeoff next month, it is gathered that Gbajabiamila has begun to discharge his duties as the chief of staff to Tinubu, having unofficially resumed with him in France with a view to working out processes and plans, including calendarizing his activities now. So joining us is Nicolas Felix, former presidential aspirant of the APC and Deputy National Youth Coordinator of APC Presidential Campaign Council. I want you to weigh in on, this picks. Gbajabiamila as chief of staff. We're hearing names being bandied around like Wale Edun. Probably he'll do a lot of work in finance. How would all of this speaks help to resuscitate Nigeria's decaying economy as we speak?
Good morning to you and good morning to Nigerians. Thank you for having me this morning. First of all, let me, it has not been official yet, but I think Femi Gbajabiamila is a great guy for this position, considering his wealth of experience. And as chief of staff, you understand, to the president, there are two things that are important. You pick somebody that you trust, and you also pick somebody that is capable. You may have people that are capable, but as president, if you don't trust them, you can't pick them. So I believe, considering his relationship to Asiwaju, the president-elect, is a great pick. He's been in the House for over 20 years. He was a minority whip, minority leader, majority leader, and current speaker of the House. So all this put together, I think Femi is a great guy for the position.
Well, let me ask you, what kind of cabinet? You've talked about, the position of the chief of staff. What kind of cabinet, in terms of outlook, in terms of composition, will you be recommending to the president-elect?
For me, with what I have known Asiwaju to be our president-elect, and which is something everybody knows throughout the campaign, nobody's said anything about this. He's a man that knows how to pick talent. He's a man that believes in diversity. So I could picture his cabinet to be filled with young men and women, youth, talented people, capable people who are able to drive the economy. Well, this brings me to reminding me of what happened in Chatham House. When he went to Chatham House, you can see the way when questions were asked, he was able to call other of his people who went with him to be able to contribute. I never forget that experience because I thought this is going to be a great leader who, first of all, you trust the people that you pick and you're able to delegate responsibility to them. And I believe that is exactly what he's going to do. We're going to be looking at a very, very robust cabinet, talking about Christians, Muslims, women, old, young. I'm going to feel Asiwaju's cabinet. He's a man that knows how to pick talent. This is not just going to be a cabinet as usual. We're expecting to see something totally different. And Nigerians are expectant. I'm expectant. I believe as soon as Asiwaju is appointed or sworn in as president, things will begin to change. The bleeding will stop. So I'm expecting to see him pick great cabinet members.
I mean, this cabinet, when it's finally picked, will have the very first challenge before it, which will be the case of fuel subsidy. Let's navigate that. Let's talk about that. He says he's going to pull out subsidy. How quickly will he be able to pull out subsidy, you think?
I don't believe or I don't think he's going to be pulling out subsidy immediately. There are things he's going to have to look into, joining forces and picking minds from his cabinet members. But I'm not scared. Why? When Asiwaju took over Lagos as governor, even after the then president refused or withheld the federal allocation, look at what he was able to do. He was able to maneuver, get Lagos running, even without receiving money from the federal government. Yes, the economy right now is tough. Things are very tough in Nigeria. And that's why I'm glad that Nigerians picked a man that is this experienced, a man who understands what it means to run an economy. So I know as soon as he's sworn in as president, he's going to get working And for the fuel subsidy, I don't expect him to just pull out for the subsidy immediately. It's going to take time. And like I've always proposed, this fuel subsidy should be done in phases to ease the pains of Nigeria. So I'm sure when he's sworn in, he's going to join hands with his cabinet members to decide on when and how to go about that.
Well, let's talk about opening it up now beyond cabinet formation, about the performance of young people in the last general elections. We've had cause to celebrate a few young persons who seem to have justified the not too young to run bill and act that followed it. What's your take in terms of how young people fared in the election, and how you think going forward in the future, what else we need to look at in terms of increasing, deepening youth participation in terms of elections, elective offices, that is?
Yes, thank you for that question. As you know, I've always been an advocate for the youth in governance, whether by election or by appointment. And I'm sure, this election, youth were very active in voting. Now, during my interviews and during campaign, there's something I've always said, that my focus is beyond 2023 election. My focus is looking at the next election, where we have so much youth to be voted for, not just to vote, various youths at various levels, even from the president to the governor, House of Reps, Senate, and all of that. So I'm looking forward to having youth in governance. Now, if you listen to the speech by President-elect the day he was given a certificate of return, you can see his speech was so much on the youth. He talked about he's looking forward to a youth becoming a president. He's looking forward to youth in governance. I was right there. I was quite very excited that even after he has won, this was not just a political statement talking about empowering the youth, This is something that Asiwaju, President-elect, really wants to do by getting youth involved. And that is a clear call for all youth out there. It's not enough to just stay on social media and tweet. It's not enough to just insult on social media. Election is over. The next phase of election is coming. Before you know, it's right by the corner. It's time now for us to get into elective office. It's time for us to be strategizing, thinking about what to do and how to get into governance. We have 8 states that are coming up for governorship elections, some this year, some next year. It's time for you to rise up, start strategizing and putting things together for us to have a large number of youthful candidates in the next general election. That has been my drive and what I desire and hope to see. This election was great. Youth were energetic to going out to vote, but now youth need to be on the ballot paper to be voted for.
A lot of people have complained about the outcome of this election, that it was marred with a lot of irregularity, there were violence and others. People are discontent, and evidently there's a case in court. What do you think that this cabinet makeup would do as regards electoral reforms, which a lot of people have now seen the need for, with this last election? For instance, will this cabinet also push to be able to completely adopt and give legal backing to most of the recommendations of the Ways report?
Asiwaju, President-elect, is a Democrat. And I believe he means well for Nigeria. And that's one of the reasons I supported him and went all the way in backing him up. And I'm glad he won. And I want Nigerians to get ready for a surprise. Many Nigerians who have thought APC have nothing good to offer, they're going to be surprised because Asiwaju is going to come and start getting things done. He's a true Democrat. He's somebody that believes in democracy. So every bill they're going to pass, the cabinet, the House, to ensure that whatever flaws we experience in this election are corrected. I'm very sure Asiwaju is going to ensure that those bills are passed. So, but one thing I want Nigerians to know, this is time for us to come together. Asiwaju is going to deliver. I believe, and I know very well, that as soon as he's sworn in, we'll begin to see changes. And many of us who have a different mindset, we begin to understand that all what we campaign about Asiwaju, all what has been said, was not just political statement. And this is a man that means well for Nigeria. He has the capacity and, most importantly, the political will and the boldness to get things done. One of the things that has always affected our political leaders is trying to please too many people without putting your foot on the ground to take decisions that will benefit the average Nigerian. And that's why I've always said we need a bold president, a man that is fearless. And I think everybody can testify that Asiwaju, president-elect, is that man. So we are expecting great things to begin to happen for the economy that has been stalled for a while to begin to experience or Nigerians to begin to breathe again and things to begin to change. And most importantly, the youth. Page 58, Asiwaju promised a lot to the youth. I am very expectant, and that's why when I heard him on that day, he was collecting his certificate of return, he was speaking to the youth, literally praying for the youth, if you permit me to use that word. The youth are going to be great in this country. He's looking forward to a youthful president. And I will not be surprised he will be the president to hand over to the youth. I'm looking forward to that. So let's be expectant that this administration is going to cause Nigeria to smile again.
Okay, I mean, we've seen a lot of lobbying. People being recommended to Asiwaju that, oh, this should be a very strategic person to be part of this government. Some people have asked members of their communities to say that, in fact, Nigeria cannot move forward if this person is not given a position at the federal level because, such a person is the best thing since the invention of toothpaste. And that was why, in part, I asked you, what kind of cabinet would you like to see? Should Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu have a cabinet that crosses across political parties, a unity kind of government, rather than a job for the boys? Or you think that members of your party, having worked so hard to get to this point, should be rewarded first, and Asiwaju should just set to IOUs?
Now, again, being somebody who, looking at his past administration and what he did, how he was able to put his cabinet members together in Lagos State, we're expecting him to do the same and even better. Of course, members of the party who worked hard, Asiwaju is a man that rewards loyalty, he rewards hard work. Now, there are also Nigerians out there who are not members of our party, who are also, talented, experienced, capable. Doesn't mean now he's going to look beyond his APC and start picking those who are out there. But I'm also very sure, as he has stretched his hand of fellowship and say, I want to build a government of national unity. If you are in PDP, you are in Labour, you are in other parties, we're all Nigerians. On my last time on your show, I did mention that when the president is elected, what is expected of every patriotic Nigeria is to join hands with the president to work together, except you're just here for your selfish interest. If you really want the growth of Nigeria, you want Nigeria to be better, whatever you have to offer, you have to be able to present yourself for service. He has already stretched his hand of fellowship. It's up to them to accept it and join him. I'm sure he's not going to be running after people. He has already said, come, let's talk. As many that are willing, the door is open for Asiwaju's door is open, president-elect, for them to join hands together. So it's not totally up to him now. It's up to our opponents, those who are in other parties, understanding that they are Nigerians, to be able to embrace him as he has already done. So, but we are expectant that Asiwaju is going to have a great cabinet. And this administration is going to cause things to work again.
All right. So we talked about the cabinet. We have not gotten confirmation for other possible picks and all of that. But I'd like to talk to you about the state of security in the nation today as we speak. What will this administration do to reverse the painful trend of insurgency and insecurity in the country, which is a big problem? Only yesterday, I'm sure you saw the attacks in the north again. We're back to that level of insecurity again.
Yes, thank you for this question. This is, when it comes to security, it's one of my biggest strengths and one area I've always talked on. And during campaigns, I've always said, no country will progress economically when security is not put in place. And the security situation in Nigeria, sometimes you ask yourself, is it that our police officers, our military men are not capable? What is actually the problem? Yes, there are things that need to be done. First of all, Asiwaju, president-elect during campaign, talked about employing more military officers. I remember the day he gave such speech, people were wondering, why will he, I think that's the day he mentioned Agbado and the rest. People are wondering, you mean you're going to hire youth? You're going to hire young people in the military? That's exactly what we need. The manpower is very low. We don't have much of equipment, and yet we don't have more manpower. As of today, we have less than 371 police officers in the whole of Nigeria, over 200 million people. That number is too small. The first thing is, I believe, is going to be doing is to hire massively, and also have some police reform to be able to strategize, reform the way the police are doing their policing. So, in my opinion, I don't think they're doing much, and to be able to have the strategic will and the skill to be able to combat insecurity in the land. But most importantly, the president is going to make some bold decisions. It's not everything we can say on national TV. I'm sure he's going to put his foot on the ground to make sure that the insurgency in the north is covered and put an end to it. That's why one of the reasons I voted and I stood with Asiwaju is a man that will put Nigeria first to make sure the insecurity in the land, whatever is needed, is taken care of. I may also quickly throw this in. When you talk about insecurity, you go to various states. Are you aware that each governor allocated security vote? Most times, governors are not doing enough to ensure that their state is safe and secure. As governors, they are the chief executive officer of their state. So in as much as the president will be doing a lot to ensure that Nigeria is safe, the governors who are the chief security officers of their state, we have to join hands, regardless of which party you belong to, ensuring the security vote allocated to your state. We are able to, get more vehicles for the police, be able to allow our police officers have a livable condition, that they can go out there and put their lives on the line to work for the average Nigerian. So these are some of the things I believe Asiwaju is going to be working on. First of all, hiring more police officers and military officers, and yes, getting them better equipment, changing our way of policing and our way of doing things that has not produced any good results.
Okay, I mean, you were originally a presidential aspirant on the platform of the APC before you decided to withdraw. You've been part of the campaign. Before now, you were based in the US, and then you showed interest in the politics of Nigeria and the leadership of Nigeria. What's next for you now that the elections are technically over, so to speak?
My next plan of action is to join Asiwaju, president-elect, in ensuring that all what he promised Nigerians, on all what we came out on TV, went on campaign to promise, he delivers. And I'm very confident that he's going to deliver. And let me make this very clear. We are preparing. Like I said, this is beyond 2023 for me. It has always been beyond 2023. And I'm so glad we have a president-elect now who believes so much in the youth. And these are some of the things throughout his administration. We're going to be looking into empowering the youth, encouraging the youth. Very soon, I'm going to come up with a program where we're calling youth all over the country to join political party, peaks form, as much as we can assist, help them to make sure the next election is going to be predominantly youth that are on the ballot paper. So for me, it's not over yet. It's first of all, let our president-elect be sworn in, and we have joined him in building a great Nigeria. But in the process of that, we're preparing for the next phase of election that is going to be dominated by the youth.
You don't want a cabinet position or an appointment in the presidency?
It's all up to our president-elect. If he didn't need my service, I'm one call away and I'm ready to serve. That's why I came to Nigeria. I left my comfort zone, left everything behind to come to Nigeria. It was because I needed to serve. I needed to make sure my impact is made in Nigeria. There's nothing much I could have done here in America. It's already a land that is working. And in my over 2 decades living here, I figure out I have some experience. I know what it takes to what a society that works. That's why I came to Nigeria. So we're right here. If Asiwaju, president-elect, needs our service, we're a phone call away. We're ready to serve. But for now, we're wishing him all the best. We're praying that he delivers, and he really surprised Nigeria. That will really gladdens my heart, because we received so much heat from people supporting him. I mean, so much hatred. And one thing that really gives me joy, when he begins to perform and Nigerians will begin to smile, we can come back on TV and say, I told you he was going to do this. I told you this was the man. That would be my first celebration. Not just he has won. Thank God for that. We're happy. But one thing that I'll be so glad about to see that everything we spoke about having youth in this cabinet. Over 9 cabinets are going to be youth. I'll be the first to celebrate when I see that happen. Spoke about having 20% of women in his cabinet. I'm going to be excited to see that. Everything that he promised students are going to get student loan. We are looking forward to that. And when he was governor of Lagos State, he gave, I think the first year, he paid for WAEC in all the students who couldn't get their WAEC, pay their WAEC fee. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, this is just me throwing this out. He has not promised this. But I'm looking forward to next year. Asiwaju, president, we say, oh, I'm paying for every student in Nigeria who wants to write WAEC and JAM. These are the things I'm looking forward to seeing. And I'll be so glad.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Nicolas Felix, for joining us on the morning show.